Hey guys, Concrete Breakdowns here. Here's another snippet of my video, 5 reasons why Jon Jones will dominate the heavyweight division. This segment is about a potential matchup between Stipe Miocic and Jon Jones. There's a brand new video coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. At the time of making this video, Stipe Miocic is the heavyweight champ. He recently gained his belt back as a trophy from his trilogy with Daniel Cormier. He's currently in discussion of being the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time. Stipe is sometimes called a meat and potatoes fighter, someone who does the basics well but does not show any sign of flash. And this is not an unfair analysis. But if Miocic is meat and potatoes, these are the greatest potatoes in the world with the best cut of meat ever served. Stipe is great at landing his pivot right straight. Stipe steps off the center line and cracks opponents with it in all his fights. His right is very accurate and very efficient. Stipe is a solid puncher with enough power to take out tricky opponents like for Doom and Dos Santos. He has great footwork for a big man and sticks with his boxing fundamentals over the wild explosions his fellow heavyweights use. Opponents with big power and good chins, like Mark Hunt and Ngannou, get flattened on the mat. Stipe prefers a solid double leg to do the job. Miocic can allow himself a few mistakes in fights because of his durability and solid cardio. There's always still the championship rounds to make up for any errors made in the fight. The heavyweight roster is a dangerous bunch, but also a group of fighters with big gaping holes in their games. Miocic is the kind of well-rounded fighter that naturally takes advantage of these opportunities. I wouldn't call Stipe and his team top-tier strategists, but Stipe naturally understands how his skill set should be used relatively to his opponents. And he's a good enough ring general to actually force his opponents in these vulnerable positions. Now I'd like to get into some of the specific problems Miocic will run into his matchup with Jon Jones. Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes provided difficult stylistic challenges to Jones. While these title contenders have vastly different fighting styles, they use similar game plans. They attack the legs of Jon Jones throughout the fight. Jones's thin legs are more vulnerable to damage and also easier to find than the head. Both Reyes and Santos use kick-heavy game plans. Conceding the kicking advantage to Jones is what has gotten many former contenders in trouble. Dominic Reyes even mentioned before the Jones fight that he wouldn't win the fight if he didn't win the kicking game. Stipe does not have the Muay Thai available on the level of Thiago Santos. Miocic also does not possess the old crow cop left side double attack of Dominic Reyes, which is a tricky southpaw left kick and left straight working in conjunction. Stipe Miocic does use kicks when he needs them, but is not the most coordinated kicker. He does not have the kind of hip mobility and leg dexterity to truly get the most out of his kicking game. His kicks are kinda slow to retract to his base, and mid kicks and high kicks are barely even an option at all. Miocic will have to concede the kicking advantage to Jones, which will allow Jones to fight in his preferred range and his preferred pace out in the open. Miocic is at his best when he's using his footwork and pivot right straight. This falls right into Jones's main strategy, as Jones will be attacking Miocic's legs from a distance. Miocic has never shown to be a capable kick checker, and there's not some kind of history of astounding kicking defense. For example, you don't see Miocic catching kicks and dumping people on the floor every other fight. Miocic might be pretty mobile compared to most heavyweights, but he'll have trouble evading Jones' very accurate oblique kick. Miocic has recently added a beautiful left hook to the body to his arsenal, but is not known to have a great left hook. He usually opts to use his left arm to hand fight and frame, to find a range for his right hand. This habit will not serve him well in the Jones fight, as Jones will be looking to grab this extended left arm for wrist control. From here I see many counter options for Jones. Cormier's quickness in the striking proved to be a real problem for Miocic, and Jones can build off these vulnerabilities. Jones will be looking to return quick fire after Stipe falls short in his jabs and his right hands. Stipe is very dangerous when he pressures opponents to the cage. He damaged Cormier this way in the third fight and got Dos Santos with it in the second fight. He always manages to land something big either to the body or the head when the opponent's back is near the cage. Stipe can reset his feet very well to continue fire while his opponents escape along the fence line. Jones tends to get pressured backwards as he gives ground to evade, sometimes getting stuck on the cage, and this is where I see Stipe's biggest opportunity to do damage in the fight. Aside from this specific opportunity for Stipe, I don't see him doing very well in the Jones fight. Stipe has not shown the tools to force Jones out of his A-game, while Jones has many ways to take away Stipe's main weapons. Because of Stipe's durability and Jones' general attrition-based style, I see this fight going the distance. Jones enjoying a big advantage on the feet as well as on the ground, but not to the point where Stipe gets blown out of the water.